This is Will It Beer, where we challenge brewers to use a mystery basket of ingredients to make the best beer possible. Today we are pitting Ryan against Josh, two of our minions, head to head to see who can make the best beer. So let's go ahead and introduce them and then show you the mystery basket of ingredients. By the way, Josh, you temporarily promoted to senior manager.
All right, my name is Josh. I'm Ryan's boss here at Genus, and I do all the numbers.
That's Numbers Ryan. I'm Actual Ryan. I do all the media, like the photos and the videos. What is this?
You gotta use 3 out of those 5 ingredients, and you also have to use the challenge ingredient.
That's some caramel praline ice cream, cookies, chocolate chip looks like, angel food cake bar, cinnamon coffee cake, a whole apple pie. So it looks like we're making something imperial with all the sugar.
Are you ready for the challenge ingredient?
There's a challenge ingredient?
Yeah.
Yeah. Peppers to go with all the sweets. I'm almost thinking like dessert stout or something.
So while I was shopping for the ingredients, I kind of had the thought process that I wanted to go something sweet. And so I decided to go with something more on like apple pie and chocolate, and kind of just got a cluster of different sweets that would be challenging for the brewers to kind of combine in a creative way. And I was stoned. I was very stoned.
I've decided to make a sour milkshake IPA. I'm going to be using the ice cream for a portion of that lactose sugar, and then I'm going to be using the breakfast pastry for the apple and cinnamon notes, which I really hope is going to be the main flavor of my beer. I'm also going to be tossing in the angel food cake just for a little added sugar to boost that ABV, and then I'm going to dry hop the serranos just to add a little back-end spice and a little serrano flavor to my beer.
All right, so we're gonna be making a spiced pastry dessert style stout. Gonna be running a base of 2 rows, some chocolate malt, some roasted barley, some Special X, and some Kerosene.
All right, so for my grain bill, I'm using 9 pounds Halcyon as the base malt, 5 pounds flaked oats, and 1.75 pounds white wheat for the adjuncts, and 0.25 pounds of acidulated malt. And then I'm also using about 5 milliliters of OptiMash to just get that conversion going.
The brewers today have a deceptively challenging set of ingredients. While at first glance it looks like a lot of these things are highly fermentable and easy to put in beer, the brewers have to cautiously handle things like balancing their salts and their fats in each of these ingredients and making sure that that doesn't overwhelm the beer or inhibit fermentation. Ryan decided to go with a pastry style stout, which I think is a really good choice. It's going to lean into a lot of the natural sweetnesses of things like the cinnamon and the caramel that's in the ice cream, whereas Josh chose to go with a milkshake style IPA, hopefully trying to steer away from some of the harsher flavors like cinnamon and caramel and lean into some of the soft sweetnesses of the cakes.
Got a big mash paddle for a big guy. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate the apple pie filling from the crust. I'm gonna add the crust here in the mash, and then probably add all the filling into the boil. I feel like the crust is gonna give me a lot of breadiness, but I just want to use it, so we're tossing it in. The mash. In the mash. Probably not going to add too much of this crust into the mash, just because I'm going to be adding a lot more bread from all the other ingredients. But just a little bit won't hurt.
All the cakes Ryan decided to go ahead and mash in. That's good for conversion, so he's going to be getting a lot of the sugars off the angel food cake and the coffee cake and the crust from the apple pie, but he did decide to hold on to the apple pie filling for the end of the boil, which I think is a really good idea. Hopefully extract that apple flavor and not have those sugars kind of compete for the sugars he wants to get out of the mash.
Okay, so basically what I'm about to do is I'm going to make a tincture out of some of these cut up peppers and let them sit in the Jameson. Probably add that end of fermentation, maybe during kegging, kind of taste it, see how it's going after adding a little bit, see if we need to add more. So, we'll start by getting these cut up. We're gonna let this bad boy sit for a week or so, and then add it in fermentation.
To deal with the peppers, Ryan actually went out and bought some Jameson for me, but also to help do a tincture with those peppers. So he's going to be extracting that pepper flavor and hopefully be able to dial in some of the heat in the final product on the back end.
All right, I am adding in the angel food cake for some extra suggies and breadiness into the mash. Gonna do about half of the cake. Looks like I'm making an imperial sour milkshake IPA, so why not make it extra imperial? Cinnamon breakfast pastry thing going in. Extra imperial, all of it. All right, mashing out. Oh shit. I'm about 5 gallons right now, so I will be sparging 2 gallons of 170 degree water to go up to boil volume. And then from 7 gallons, I will be doing a 90-minute boil down to about 5.5 gallons, and then going into the fermenter and all that good stuff.
All right, we're done with the mash. It's time to mash out and then get some sparge water running through this bad boy. Proving that even someone of smaller size can lift the basket.
Ah, I can't! This is so heavy!
So from tasting the apple pie, I get a lot of cinnamon out of the sauce. So what I did is I took out the middle of the apple pie, the sauce and the apples, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop them up, mix them in so it's all evenly distributed, so we get a better equalization of everything in the beer.
I'm also gonna do that, but better. He stole my idea.
Early lactose addition. One and a half quarts of caramel ice cream.
When it comes to dealing with the ice cream, Josh decided to actually boil the entire thing to help break down those proteins. Hopefully that is able to do something to stratify or separate out the fats that's in the ice cream as well. It's going to be a very challenging ingredient to use and work with.
Right now I am cutting up serranos to do a whirlpool addition in my boil, and then I'm going to taste the wort and see how spicy it is, and debate whether I need to make dry hopping additions of serranos to really incorporate that spicy note to it. But we'll see once it gets there.
So we're all sparged out. We're finally up at a boil. I'm gonna add an ounce of Chinook at 60 minutes, just so I don't really get a whole lot of hot flavor. And then I'm going to boil some of the ice cream, not as much as Josh, because I'm not a psychopath. I'm also going to take these, the apple pie filling here, and boil some of these.
So Ryan is editing the video, but just so everybody knows,
I stole all my brewing ideas from Ryan, and he is the superior brewer.
We're gonna add in 2 pounds of dextrose, because I gotta be more imperial than Josh.
and I am in the last 10 minutes of my boil, so I am adding about 1 pound of lactose. And then I am also adding my 10-minute addition of Azacca Lupo Max.
To complement the creaminess of the ice cream that he added to his boil, Josh is also going to be adding some lactose, milk sugar to help sweeten up the overall beer.
We're not gonna add some of this delicious looking ice cream in the beginning of the boil also. Oh God. Oh. Just a smidge more. That's good. That's plenty.
For my last boil addition, I'm going to be adding the apple pie filling about 5 minutes before boil out and until I go into the whirlpool.
All right, we're doing our 60-minute hop addition. We're doing just an ounce of Chinook, not trying to do anything crazy with the hops. Just gotta have hops in it so it's beer.
So I got my 2 ounces of Azacca and my 1 ounce of Lupo Max Sabro. Doing my whirlpool additions. Get all that flavor with no bitterness. So I'm gonna let this sit at about 175 for about 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna chill down and pitch into my fermenter and pitch the yeast. Adding my serranos. Adding my serranos in the whirlpool. A little spicy addition. Get all those seeds in there.
We got about 10 minutes left on the boil, so I'm gonna throw in this apple pie filling and kind of let that get all boiled up. And then at flame out, I'm gonna add the serrano peppers that I chopped up right here. And we'll cool down and then put it in the fermenter.
So as you can see, we are at 73 degrees. I'm gonna start my transfer into my stainless steel fermenter. So ball valve, stuck. Siphon, stuck. We're dumping it. I was about halfway transferring to my fermenter, and I had a apple from the apple pie get stuck. So I tried to use the pump, I tried to use a siphon, and everything jammed up. So I ended up just taking it to the back of the brew house on the floor drain and dumping it into the fermenter. I then oxygenated, sanitized my yeast, my hands, and all that good stuff, and then pitched my yeast, the A20 citrus, to kind of go with that hazy, the Azaka and the Sabro flavors. I really think that'll go great together, and I'm excited to see how it'll turn out.
Got all transferred, we're about to pitch the yeast. I'll be pitching Tartan from Imperial. It's a nice Scottish style that I think will go really well with the stout base. Brew day is done. We pitched our yeast, got it all transferred and everything, got it oxygenated, and got the blow-off tubes attached to it. Took a final gravity reading. We're sitting at 1090, so hopefully it'll finish out to about 1015, be looking around 9.8% or so. Yeah, we'll be back in probably a week or so to add some super clear and possibly dry hop, and then we'll be back to the tasting. All right, so the beer is done fermenting. Took a hydrometer sample. Upon tasting it, the pepper and spice is present, but not quite where I like it, so we're gonna add in a pretty good amount of our tincture of Jameson and Serrano into there. Tincture's added, we're gonna let it sit for a couple days, come back and taste it again upon kegging and see if we have to add any more. So a little bit more of this tincture going into the keg wouldn't hurt it, but I'm scared if I add the tincture, then it might mask some of the other flavors from the pastries that are present right now. So I think we'll just add a small amount of tincture. Just a little bit more of this tincture, there's not a whole lot left. All right, time to transfer.
There's a lot of sediment from all the breads, the pastry, and everything. So I'm going to be adding some super clear in as I'm kegging, so everything, all the sediment drops out in the keg, and hopefully I have some clear, more drinkable beer.
Our beers are kegged and carbonated, so it's time to get to the tasting.
So, my name's Tim. I'm here to make fun of Josh because it's fun.
All right, I'm Ryan. I've been promoted to Josh's boss.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, that's right. You guys put Serranos in here.
This is very muddy.
The smell is the pepper to me. I get a lot of like that kind of spicy, peppery.
I don't get any flavor of pepper at all.
Yeah, the flavor of the pepper is not as strong as I thought.
I get a little bit of hop aromas, but nothing overpowering or nothing what a typical IPA smells like.
Yeah, I get subtle fruitiness, and then I'm gonna say I also get caramel.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say that there probably isn't a flaw, at least in the nose, on brewing in this, but the Serranos are coming across huge.
There's still food floating around in mine. There's still food in here.
They're snacks.
The palate has a thickness, like an oil that you want to scrape off your tongue a little bit, like a.
Not like a slickness though, but like a.
Yeah, it's like a film that you want to scrape off your tongue.
So I get a lot of that apple pie that I tossed in.
There's like an intense Maillard caramelization, like more than I have tasted in beer before. Overall, I would say this is a well-brewed beer.
I think it's all right.
Yeah, I think in terms of actually having brewed the beer, I think it's a well-brewed beer. I just think the ingredients don't work.
No, and so I was going for the apple, the cinnamon, and I get a little bit of apple and cinnamon, but I just don't think it sits well on top of the, like that, because there is some hop character into it.
Yeah,
that I get.
The hop character, yeah.
I really don't like the hops mixed with the apple cinnamon. It just doesn't.
It's a weird dichotomy.
It's
yeah.
weird.
The finish tastes like what Ryan's face looks like.
Bad.
Yeah.
Well, not just in general.
Just like this normal thing.
I can pull some of the different ingredients out of here. Like I can kind of get the apple, definitely get some of the pepper. It's got a little bit of the breadiness.
Not all in all, not a bad job. I'd say a solid C-.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Thank God.
Okay, this is a little bit more of like a beer, and it's got a little kick at the end.
I definitely get vanilla and caramel right off the bat. That's awesome.
The nose on this one is roasty pepper. Very muddled in flavor to me. There's so much going on that it mutes everything. Peppers are way more prevalent in this one. And I think that's because of that tincture you did. I will say, for 10%, the alcohol is actually hidden pretty well in this.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it.
I get a little bit, but not as much. I get a little bit of that same like film on my tongue, like I want to kind of scrape it off. There's not a lot of clashing or obtrusive flavors in this one.
I think everything goes well. I want to say I get a little bit of the peppers in there.
Oh yeah, and there's some spice, there's some heat.
Yeah, I think yeah, right on the front end almost is when I'm getting it.
That's confusing. Yeah, it's like another interesting layer to the beer.
Yeah,
I like this beer.
I like it too, but I have to say the aftertaste on this beer is actually better than this one. When you just sit for a second, you get some spicy funk. I have to like drink more to get rid of it.
There's a definite pastry quality going on to this that I think probably comes from all of that being in there. Like you said, I don't think the apples are coming out very much, or they're so subdued that they're just being taken over by everything else. The cinnamon almost goes into the peppers and that spice that you can get out of it, and you're almost getting that little bit of Mexican hot chocolate, you know, with the chili peppers and the cinnamon and the dark chocolate going on in there. I enjoy that. That's really nice.
Overall thoughts on the stout, I think a lot of the flavors work well together. There's some caramel that comes in on the nose if you really search for it. The apple I think comes in quite a bit. Yeah. And then between the cannabinoids and the capsaicin from the peppers and cinnamon, I think it kind of works well. It's a nice, like, pleasant tingle on the back of your tongue.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite part of the beer is just that extra layer the serranos gave it, because it does kind of like leave a spicy aftertaste in your mouth. Like nothing like you're burning, but you definitely are still getting that pepper character.
Yeah. Yeah, the only downsides I would say is there still is that tongue coating, like I really want to scrape my tongue off. There's some fats in this that I'm not. Obviously the head retention on both of these is terrible.
Yeah.
And there's almost a little bit of metallic taste, and so I might down the roasted kind of character that's in this. But it tastes really good. I think all the flavors work well. This is the second best spicy stout I've had, basically only to my Willet beer when I did the Will Tamales beer, which is the best spicy stout that's ever been made in the world.
These ingredients, I didn't really know what to do with any of them besides, you know, all the breads. I knew I was just gonna mash those. The ice cream I was stuck on for a little bit, then I ended up just boiling it. Serranos are pretty easy. I think I knew from the moment I saw them, I wanted to tincture them.
One, this needs to age longer. This is way too young to be served. I also think adding some more Maillard into, or a longer boil into it would be really nice. You get more caramel flavors, and that'd really boost the pastry stout. Maybe even adding a little bit of lactose in there to help boost that kind of pastry stout to it would be really nice. But all in all, for your level of brewing as well as these ingredients, this is a really nice beer. I mean,
I think this one won.
Did Ryan make this?
No, Josh made that one. I made the stout.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, so final thoughts, which ones represent the ingredients more? I think they kind of tie on this one. This one definitely has a lot of the ingredients, just not in a way that I like. Yeah. But I want to say they tie. I can't really give it to either one. Which one I would drink more? I would drink more of the stout for sure.
So I definitely drink more of the stout, and I'm also going to say the stout is a better representation, just because he really did get that serrano layer in there for the challenge ingredient.
Nice, yeah.
And I have a lot more apple cinnamon flavors, but I'm missing that challenge ingredient. So I would say Ryan's is a better representation of the Willet beer style.
Thanks so much for watching. The Willet Beer Project is a very special project to us. And if you want to see more of people brewing with strange ingredients and trying to change the face of what brewing can be, doing challenges like this, subscribe to this channel and share this video or other Willet Beer videos with your friends if you like them. Also follow our Instagram, Facebook, all that will be linked in the description below. And also follow Josh at accountingservices.com. It's his new website. We will we won't link that, but he does that.
I do books, numbers.
Numbers Ryan.
Numbers.
And give us ideas of what we want to see done next, because we've got a lot of ideas of weird stuff to make into a beer, and I think it makes it fun. See you next time on Willet Beer. Woo!
Doing the full finish, it is actually tastes totally different.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Really? Are you shitting me? You think it's better if you finish the whole thing? Full experience? All right.
That's what we did on Light Lager Day. Yeah, I'll finish mine too.
It's like the King's Cup. That's what this reminds me of. Totally, like somebody was drinking Malibu.
That's actually a really good
Somebody
point.
was drinking beer. There's one chick with a Truly, and it was Ryan.
Someone had like a
And they were just everyone was just boom, and then I got stuck with the cup. I have never not finished a drink in my existence.
Yeah, will it brew? No.
Now,
No.
I haven't tried a lot of the other ones, but this is probably gonna go down as the worst beer on the show so far,
I think
right?
I've tried them all, and this is.
Okay, I'm glad I could be here for this, because that is so hard to, like, it got worse.
It got so worse.
It got so much worse. I was trying so hard, and I'm not even kidding you, I'm good at shooting stuff, but
Maybe it'll age well.
oh, it's so bad, actually. The one thing I can't tell is maybe this tastes so good because of how bad that tastes. I almost want to, like, get that out of my brain and come back to this at some point.